directly from Russia. What do you think?
Looks like a footprint.
Yeah, but look where it's at. It's out in the tundra.
In the mud.
Watch this guy. I think he's trying to match the stride by... Look at the stride on that.
That's a pretty big stride.
It's a huge stride. I also like... Look at the toe, the big toe. How distinctive, how much like it pushes in further.
Yeah.
It reminds me of those tracks that guy found in the snowfield a couple years ago. Somewhere else. And look, they got like babies. Yeah, see, look, this is the guy in the snowfield. Doesn't that track look similar with the big toe?
Yeah, it does actually.
I mean, isn't that kind of odd?
It looks bigger.
Well, no, it's bigger, but I'm saying the shape and the way that toe is distinctive. Look.
Yeah. That one just looks like a regular footprint, though, of a kid.
The toe doesn't. Do you see that kind of toe at the beach? Not to mention the stride. I mean, I can tell these guys are... And look at that stride.
Yeah, but the size of the foot doesn't make sense for the strides unless it's running.
Well, that's true, but here's the thing. When you're in soft mud like that and you pull your foot out, that track will slump in a little bit. It'll retain almost perfect, the shape and everything, but it won't appear to be the same size. Plus, those tracks were made when that substrate was wet. Those guys are walking on top of it. So those tracks also dried a little bit, which would, I think, probably also tend to shrink the track. So the foot that made those tracks was probably larger. Okay. They can't match the stride, and they're on the surface.
Right.
Those tracks were, 6, 8, 10 inches, however far they were down in the mud. They were doing that stride. They weren't dragging their feet, so they were obviously lifting their feet up out of the mud.
Right.
That's something much taller than those guys.
Still think the footprint's small for the stride.
Well, I mean...
So you don't really know how tall.
Well, I know that's a hell of a stride, and it would take a lot of... You'd have to be an athlete. You'd have to have a lot of power. I mean, you might be able to do it once or twice, but there was a whole scat of tracks there. And that stride, that guy did that stride for a long time. I get the impression that stride was, for quite a while. And I find it really interesting that if it was a hoax, it was a family with their children.
Yeah, that's true. Running
around in the Russian, tundra, somewheres up in the ass into no place. I find it quite peculiar. It's interesting to me, and I'm seeing a consistency with that big toe, so I don't know. I'm curious what other people would think. Does anybody have any insight into this ginormous flexible toe thing, right?
Right.
You're researching it, aren't you? I know you are.
Running stride, I am.
All right, Zen Yetians, and everybody knows that we're on the search for the blue tarp. So if you got a Bigfoot wrapped up on a blue tarp in your basement, the trunk of your car, your suitcase, in your wallet, under your bed, I don't know where you might have this thing hidden, get a picture of it and go on Facebook to the Zen Yeti and submit your photo and comments, and it could end up in a video, couldn't it? And yeah, if anybody speaks Russian, I'd like to know what this guy was saying. I find some of these Russian reports really intriguing. I mean, there's a lot of wilderness up there, and you get a lot of these strange reports in these extremely remote areas by, indigenous Russian people, I guess. I mean, that looks similar to what you'd see up in Alaska.
Oh,
Yeah, by some stream, they're fishing for salmon and shit. And I mean, the guy's living in like a teepee type structure. I mean, he's a Mongolian type guy, it looks to me like, Asian or whatever. But I mean, he's living just like anybody that lives in the north.
Right.
And it's like, hey, I saw something down there. Go down there, the tracks are down there. Maybe he didn't say it. Maybe he just found the tracks.
Yeah, we don't know what he said.
But everybody there was dressed in boots and snowmobile pants, and it didn't look like the type of terrain that you'd be running around with your children barefoot.
Right.
So, yeah, not only are Bigfoots just infesting the forest of North America, apparently there's a huge population of them in Russia, too. And those Russian guys, man, they just chase them down, they tackle them. They do, they're fearless. Look, they chase bears with little paddles.
Yeah.
There's this photo right on Google Earth.